depths of the dark web, dark of the night.
This is a big night for us because we are such, I don't know, rivals, enemies of Sasquatch, that I feel like it's been a while, if ever, that we've really done a big episode about Sasquatch, right?
We don't even like to think of him.
Yeah.
And whenever he comes up in conversation, we both plug our ears and say, no, go away. But tonight, that's not true.
Well, when you own him and he is yours, it's a different story. Welcome to Dark of the Night. We're getting a call already.
That's a good omen.
Should we take this call? I think let's take this call.
Hello, you're on the line with Dark of the Night. We haven't even started the show, really. But here you are. Who's calling?
Hey,
Hello. You're doing great. Yeah.
Can you hear us? You're live.
Yeah.
You're live on Dark of the Night. How are you doing tonight?
amazing, dude. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing today?
We're great. We really just started the show. We thank you for calling.
I just wanted to spread my love, my dude. You guys seem pretty great. Looking forward to the stream.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. We're gonna dig in. We're gonna dig into some Sasquatch knowledge right now.
Yeah.
What's your name, Nightcrawler?
My name, Marshall.
Marshall. Nice,
Hey.
strong name.
Thank you very much.
Listen, Marshall, we are talking tonight about domesticating Sasquatch. He's our number one enemy, but
Yeah.
there may be a way in which we can turn him into a civilized creature. What do you think?
I think if it's used the right way, it'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Like in wars, they use horses and shit, like to carry like heavy shit. We could like use them and domesticate them like fucking like animals, dude. Kill.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that it'll be more fun than an animal per se, because
it's like a human.
It's like a post-apocalyptic sci-fi movie.
Yeah, you can like dress it up and shit and like give it a hat.
Yeah. Anything that's fun and enjoyable about both an animal or a pet or a baby or a man, you can combine all the fun of all three of those things and playing with them and doing whatever with them. And that's the joy you would get out of it. If he could be domesticated, it's still a big if.
Yeah, man. It's a good thing to think about, really, but how are they gonna get the Sasquatches? That's what I'm wondering. Like, how could we get them?
It's a great question. We're gonna dig in. It's early in the show, and we have so much to tell everyone. I think we better start this journey of explaining how we're gonna get.
All right, man.
Yeah,
great journey.
Marshall,
Right,
thanks for calling in.
Thanks for calling in, Marshall.
1488, praise Hitler.
Tonight, we're going to talk about domesticating Sasquatch. And,
right.
Alex, that sort of just makes you think about capturing him in the first place.
Well, so why would you want to? Let's pull up that slide, Chris. So he is to say he's an enemy, he's basically like if we were the Big Bang and we were the universe, he would be some sort of anti-universe that's trying to just delete us, right?
That's right. If he were a character in a book, he would be Moby Dick, and we would be two Pinocchios that were on our way to become real boys, and Geppetto had been murdered by this creature, and then we were just hell-bent on
Let's hold off on the calls for now. Let's try to get through the...
Yeah, let's try and get through the intro here.
Well, so because he is our enemy, right? So why domesticate a Sasquatch? Because capturing Sasquatch is the highest possible achievement of man, and it's also the quickening. It's a combination. The way I would describe this feeling is when you finally capture a Sasquatch, it's such a joy. You're so high out of your mind with joy, and you're also so sort of like, I did it. I did it. That you're like Goku from fucking Dragon Ball Z.
And that's the posture, by the way.
Yeah.
You're hunched over.
You did it, and I did it. And my hat it just disappears forever.
You're jacked beyond the solar system. Many of our younger viewers might not be familiar with an excellent it's not a documentary, but it's based on real events. It's called The Highlander. And in this movie, there's an event called The Quickening, and it's when you finally defeat the only other living Highlander. Lightning shoots into your body, you tense up just like Alex and I were doing there, and every muscle cell of your body experiences sort of a simultaneous orgasm and power rage all at the same time.
When you capture Sasquatch, every single cell in your body, every neuron, every white blood cell, every element of your tissues has an orgasm, and you are powering up and you go Super Saiyan.
And so that's probably the biggest reason to capture Sasquatch. Couple
things right up top. Matt says, will you address the ethical issues, though, implications of enslaving a humanoid? Here's the thing. We're not talking about enslaving, and we're going to get into that. And it's actually a great question, and we have methods to domesticate that we're going to recommend that not only completely sidestep the issue, but never mention it again.
And because if we were going to enslave in the first place, we would just kill him. I mean, that's the other possibility. We have no problem. We fantasized often about sort of bathing in his blood in a sense.
Right. If you're having any sort of ethical questions about what's the right thing to do, just run him over with your car and get it done with. Let's go back. Wait, there's one other question here, Eric.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, what do you think a Sasquatch would look like if he was shaved 100%?
I would imagine something between like a Brock Lesnar and like sort of a child that was born after the Chernobyl disaster. And that's maybe the most PC thing I've ever said, but we're just talking about objective truth.
It's the most accurate thing you've ever said. Chris, let's go back to the slide. So after you go, I mean, where do you go from there? You have to sustain it.
Right, because once you've tasted the quickening, you've got to keep it rolling. Otherwise, you're going to fall into a terrible pit of depression. So you've got to kind of see the quickening and the capture as the wedding night, and then the relationship unfolds after that, and it's the marathon, right, Alex? As someone who's been married,
right? Well, we're not talking
about marrying sex. That's maybe a bad analogy.
It's an interesting comparison, but it's not a bad analogy. First of all, never get married. Love is a lie. But let's say that you fall in love at first sight, right?
And I do every day,
right? So when you fall in love with first sight, it's the best feeling in the world, right?
Yes.
And if you ever have a relationship at some point, what you'd need to do is, because what happens is that you have that high and then you need to sustain it. So you start here. When you fall in love, it's like, ah! And then later you have to be more like floating Goku.
And so if that is a long haul, then you have to start to think about, you can't just let this wild beast just do whatever he wants. You have to tame him. And
you're right. So the only way to sustain that relationship.
Yeah.
Mold them in your image. But you have to act as is God.
Because that's the way that God, in the beginning, he fashioned us in his image. And to fashion Sasquatch in our image, I can think of nothing more joyful than, besides the capture of Sasquatch and experiencing sort of an instant, overpowering celestial orgasm, to then mold him into the image of myself and to see him also resemble Alex. That would just be a reward that the mind can't imagine.
Ed asks, would we have to shave him? No. I want to say, well, first of all, there's no have to here, right? I don't think there's one right way to do this.
No, this is an art and a science. And so shaving him might be an option. But think of all of the hair that people have all over their bodies in pop culture today.
Short Mike Short says, so God looks like Sasquatch.
I don't think that's...
No, I would say that is so blasphemous, and so it's a combination of blasphemous and pissing me off.
Yeah, no one looks like Sasquatch except Sasquatch.
But at the same time, I would say his silhouette is...
It's not...
If you were drunk, you'd say, well, that must be God standing over there. But, I mean, again, I don't know if anyone would ever say that.
But yes, fashioning him and sort of curating every little piece about him, how he walks, how he talks, how he carries himself, all of that, and maybe shaving, all of those things. It would be so satisfying, wouldn't it, Alex?
It would be. I mean, there's so many things that once you is this my camera, Chris? Once you have him, and you know that he has been defeated, you will understand that there's you have no limits now. You are beyond. You're not going to die. You're not going to grow old. No one can stop you anymore. So is it going to be satisfying? I mean, what does that sound like to you?
And I would say the final reason to domesticate Sasquatch is, frankly, there's a possibility of a relationship developing. And it wouldn't be a relationship like a man with another man. It would be a relationship sort of like a pet, where you would get a bond. Right. But it would be an unholy bond. An unholy bond that perhaps could be made holy through the crucible of sort of getting him a nice outfit and teaching him math.
We have an eager caller. We're pausing on the calls just because we're early on the show and we have a lot of material to get through, but we will take calls a little bit later. To respond to you, Eric.
Let me ask you this: Have you ever had a pet?
No, never. I honest to God, every time I see a dog, I want to buy one.
They're friendly. They're friendly, and yet I don't feel right bringing one into my life. But I do feel right about bringing Sasquatch into my life because he doesn't have a life of his own. He's got a really crappy existence.
Well, we're getting into some, and I appreciate what you're saying, but I think we gotta push through the ethics of domestication, right? Or owning, or whatever you want to call it.
Poning.
Yeah, poning. Wait, can you mute this? That's fine. The ethics, that's where you have to end, because those are some questions that can never be answered. Where you start is how to do it.
Right.
And what I want to hear from you now, Eric, is how do you domesticate?
So I have 3 sort of simple steps that are the first steps that I would take towards domesticating Sasquatch should I get a hold of that mythical nightmare. So the first one is that I would teach him how to read, and I would do that by starting off with some children's books, but eventually I would bring him into some more sophisticated literature. And so this is one of the books that I find to be something that shaped my worldview and has allowed me to sort of see the world through a more civilized lens. And this is the biography of Jimmy Buffett. It's called A Pirate Looks at 50. And so I've got a chapter and a little bit here I'd like to read for all of you, just so that you might realize the kind of stuff that I'd be teaching him. Do you mind, Alex, if I read kind of a short?
Yeah, and then I'm going to try to learn as well, to try to glean what is it that he may learn.
Okay. I have always thought of New Year's Eve as amateur night. It comes from the fact that for so many years I viewed the celebrations from a bandstand. New Year's Eve was always a gig, and I always felt more comfortable working than playing. The first time I found myself out in the crowd as opposed to up on the stage, I was uncomfortable. I really didn't know what to do, and there were too many people trying to have a good time. I might be a little jaded as well, because I see what amounts to full-blown New Year's bash at least 30 to 40 times a year at our road shows.
You know, for a guy whose life is essentially partying, it's incredible how it almost sounds like he's a librarian.
And that's part of why this would appeal, I think, to Sasquatch, is because Jimmy Buffett could have been an animal, but he spent his time sort of writing this stuff that's kind of soft in a way.
Yeah, it's like in a way, here's what I learned. Maybe a guy whose whole career is talking about partying and having a good time is possibly some kind of liar or fraud. And I'm just sort of surmising here.
But couldn't you see Sasquatch sort of dialing things down and becoming more tame if he were to think through what Jimmy Buffett is saying about seeing a crowd and kind of being like nonplussed?
It's an incredible, it's actually an incredible point. I see what you're doing now. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but here's what I think. Sasquatch, I think, the beast, he may listen to Jimmy Buffett, the undomesticated beast, and he may be like, I don't know. I don't know what sounds he'd make when he's enjoying Jimmy Buffett.
That's close.
Something like that. But if he's hearing the enlightened, sort of exposition of the logic of partying, the
deconstructed party,
the letters and the sort of just the philosophizing of partying, then he becomes domesticated.
Right. So that's step one. The second thing that I think is important for Sasquatch to learn about is safe sex. Folks, we all need to learn about safe sex.
You're actually getting a lot of comments here, Eric. I don't know if you want to respond to them.
Sure. Is there any way, while I set up for this next educational tool, that you could read one to me?
Well, Matt in Los Angeles says I'd be surprised if Jimmy Buffett didn't have his own Sasquatch.
He's been all over town, and look, he's been there's sharks to the left and sharks to the right, but you're the only game in town, is what he says, and he could very well be talking about cryptids.
A couple other quick questions here. Difference between Bigfoot and Sasquatch. That's from Dr. Watney.
it depends on if you're talking to a Native American or if you're just talking to an American.
It's a semantic difference.
Correct.
Same object.
Same object, different subject. Folks, as I mentioned, safe sex. Sasquatch is out there fornicating with trees, animals, frogs, other Sasquatch. And once he becomes domesticated, we don't want him burdened with children born out of wedlock, with alimony payments. We need him to keep it in his pants because he'll be wearing pants for the very first time. So what I would do is I would start off by taking this plunger, and I would take this sort of, it's a hairy foot that I got at a costume store, and I would wrap it, put it on the plunger, and then I would open a condom, and I would take the condom out, and I would try and wrap the hairy foot wrap the hairy foot around the edge of the plunger, and then put the condom on this hairy foot. And this is, I think, kind of what Sasquatch would be dealing with a little bit here. And if you could get this down all the way.
It is torn. It's completely ruined.
Well, as long as you get just the top of it, okay. I think that you're going to be all right. Or at least that you're going to be better off than you would be without anything. And so this is pretty close to, I think, what Sasquatch would be dealing with. And so if he was able to, if I saw in his eyes an enlightened understanding, and I saw sort of a twinkle of consciousness somewhere in that deep, nightmarish hell of a hole that he calls eye sockets, then I would probably say, okay, we got it. And then lastly, to domesticate him, I would just take a whip, and if he was bad, I'd say, no, bad.
I want to say immediately off the bat, this is my least favorite.
Well, I don't,
and I'm not saying it's not. It's an option.
It's the nuclear option.
It's the nuclear option.
Nobody wants that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and in fact, part of me wants to just get rid of that bullwhip as a prop. So that we can't see it anymore.
Okay. So those are my top three, I would say. Alex, tell me, how would you domesticate Sasquatch? Because there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Well, I want to see the. I want to answer. There's a few. There's a lot of questions here.
Okay, sure.
I mean, people that
want to know.
Well, translations ask how many questions and does it take to officially qualify a Sasquatch as domesticated? Well, I think what our theory is, and we don't completely know, but our theory is that it can happen on the first generation. The transformation,
it can be that quick
because it's an intelligent creature. It's similar to the Shakespeare plot Taming of the Shrew, or My Fair Lady,
or Starman.
It is kind of like Starman is kind of like My Fair Lady, but with an alien. So the Hippie Steve says, "Stop domestication now. You think Harry and the Hendersons is a joke?" Well, I mean, again, the ethical questions. Catching Sasquatch is the quickening.
Catching Sasquatch is the quickening, and look. For a man to lay hands on a Sasquatch is the highest sensation one can have. And to be continued says, doesn't Eric look like a Sasquatch? And no, I don't look like a Sasquatch. I look like a man who's a Terminator, both on the inside and the outside.
All right, look, Steve, don't return your T-shirts. That's the last question we're going to answer. It's not a question exactly. Keep the T-shirts.
Yeah, Alex, share with us your domestication policy.
I'm gonna go big. Ow! I touched a cactus. What is this? Cut to my close-up. What is this? What does this look like to you?
Pringles.
It's pizza Pringles. Well, but more specifically, wait. Cut to my camera. This is moral decadence.
Oh, okay.
This is and you got and here.
Pop-Tarts.
There's hot fudge sundae Pop-Tarts.
Oh, man.
What I'm saying here. Go in my slide.
My mouth's watering.
You have to use civilization's decadence to destroy his will and identity, Mike, much like we've all been destroyed. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. I've had hot fudge sundae Pop-Tarts at least 10 times. What I'm saying is, our civilization is so full of temptation and frankly, just things that are there to make us. I mean, we're all lazy. None of us are. I mean, that to me, in the 21st century, what it means to be domesticated. I mean, Chris, let's see. We're talking food. We're talking porno. Mm-hmm. We're talking, and it's going to get lost under the logo, but that's fine. And we're talking, what's the next one? Entertainment. Mm-hmm. We're talking smartphones, and we're talking comfortable furniture. I mean, we're talking about, okay, look, man. Wait. Auto mod. Look. I don't know if this is dark. But here, look at this. I don't know how to tell. I don't know how to tell you any different. Look, here, Eric, act out a scene with me.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
Okay, you're a cashier at McDonald's.
Okay.
Sasquatch is out in the car.
Oh gosh, do I know that or not?
No, you don't.
Okay.
Okay, so I will have.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Thank you.
Can I take your order?
I will have 20 cheeseburgers. Are you gonna put that in?
Okay. 20 cheeseburgers. That's gonna take probably maybe 20 minutes.
This is such a. I mean, are you gonna tell me how long everything's gonna take?
No, that'll be $19.99.
Well, I want to order more.
Okay. What else would you like?
30 Big Macs.
30 Big Macs. What else?
20 fries.
20 fries.
40 chicken sandwiches.
40 chicken sandwiches. Sir, next time please call ahead if you're going to have a party pack because we don't have...
This isn't for a party.
Okay. That's $68.75. Will you be paying cash or card?
There's more I want to order.
Sir, okay. We've got customers standing in line here. What else could we get?
Can I have 20 large Cokes?
20 Cokes.
I will have 30 McFlurries.
30 McFlurries. Sir, this is going to take probably a couple of hours.
Look.
Yeah.
Snickers will be fine for all of those.
Snickers.
I will have, just give me all of the warm chocolate chip cookies you have.
Warm chocolate chip cookies.
And the apple pies as well.
Okay, this is going to be $221.29.
Why do you keep giving me the price before I'm done ordering?
Sir, we don't... We've only got a staff. We've got a staff of 5 people.
Why do you have such a big menu if you don't expect that someone's going to come in and order much of it?
Well, we've got a lot of people that we serve, and we're fast food. Look, we're not a catering service.
All right. Well, let's go back. Let's end this scene there.
Okay.
Look, the point of that scene was I just began domesticating Sasquatch. That was a Sasquatch-sized order of McDonald's, and he's officially joined the fast food nation.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
I don't know why I said the name of that book. I guess, but he's joining American culture.
Well, let him know that he does have to call ahead if he's going to order that much food.
I felt like an asshole making that order.
Yeah.
I was trying to plow ahead just because I was trying to make a point, but yeah, I felt like a jerk off.
You and I have a real good relationship with the people at McDonald's, and it would be a shame to make them so angry.
All right, look, I think I made my point. And then get him a Lazy Boy, get him a Netflix subscription, get him HBO. You know what? Spend $100 a month, get him all the streaming services.
What are you gonna do with those Pop-Tarts later?
I mean, they're fair game.
Party on!
We got a bunch of questions.
Okay,
in the chat there.
we've got people asking. Does he? Translation says more like Fat Squatch, which is really funny.
He will be Fat Squatch.
Weenus Grabber says, if you were to shave Sasquatch, what would you get? A hairless Sasquatch, or perhaps a man pretending to be a monster? What is it with you, the Nightcrawlers, wanting to shave Sasquatch? That thought has never even crossed my mind. If I didn't know better, I would think that you guys there was some sort of profane glee that you have in thinking about Sasquatch in an erotic way. But I'm not going to put that on you because I know that you guys are better than that. Dr. Watney wants to wax him. Dr. Watney, you've got a family. I want to remind you of that so you don't end up like me, living in my car. Alex, what's next? Are we gonna...
Hippie Steve, we're not promoting streaming services for any money, although or promoting streaming services for any money. This isn't a Sling TV ad, although Sling TV is a great product. I use it every day.
You know what? Why don't we make some calls?
Okay, great. So you can't do this alone. You can't domesticate Sasquatch alone. You're going to need some of the fine services that are offered across the United States.
All around the country. We have a... So first, we're going to call a...
Let's call Men's Warehouse.
Yeah.
Or Casual Mail XL.
Casual Mail XL. Because you're going to need to clothe Sasquatch. If he sees himself nude, he's going to sort of be caught up in that animalistic mindset that he's used to. But if you put him in a nice tailored suit or a nice pair of chinos, he's going to start to, when he looks in the mirror, he's going to say, I just look ridiculous. But in a good way, in a way that we all look ridiculous. So he's going to instinctively start to act a little differently.
This is Casual Mail XL we're calling.
Good evening, Casual Mail. This is Cora.
Hi there. I want to ask you a question. How large do your clothes run? What's the largest possible size?
The waist size?
Correct. Waist size and length.
Okay, well, the length is usually 36. The waist size goes
36?
About 60. Yeah.
I wear size 36 pants, but I've got a man that I would like to buy some clothes for it. He's much bigger than that, both in girth and
length?
in the length. Oh, are you talking about length?
Yeah. The waist side, the length goes up to 36. The waist side goes 62. Maybe
that'll be plenty
big.
Have
a few 64s.
Is there any way that you could cut two pairs of pants apart and then sew them together with some extra fabric thrown in on the side?
Well, I can't, but the store can't. But,
sure.
I have.
But someone somewhere could ostensibly do that.
Huh.
Well, let me ask you this: how large are the hats? Do you have any top hats or bowlers or anything like that?
The only thing we have are like driving caps, the little ones with the beals on it.
Are those the ones?
Or baseball caps.
Driving caps, are those the ones that like newsies would wear, like the old time English?
Right,
Oh.
exactly.
Oh, yeah, great. And those run what size?
Well, let me look and see what we have here.
And these can be, when you try something on in the store, do they have to, what if they get a little dirty or something in there? Do you guys wash the clothes and then re-rack them, or do they go straight back on the rack? No. So
if they're dirty, we can't sell them.
Yeah. Well, okay. Because I've got a big, nasty man coming in hot. He wants to put on some clothes, and he's going to come in, and he's going to get it on. What I mean by that, he'd buy a lot of clothes.
Well, how big is his waist?
You don't even want to know. I mean, I don't know that I know, and that's why we got to get him in there and get... you have measuring tape?
Yes.
Do you have multiple tapes? Because I feel like it's going to take... it's going to take more than one to get all the way around. I mean, this guy's like a tree trunk.
He can't be that big.
Well, listen. That's what they say. That's why nobody's ever gotten a hold of him.
Oh,
But
the biggest size our tape measures go is to 120 inches.
well, you better get 3 or 4 of them. And do you have any duct tape or any sort of fasteners that you could connect multiple of those together? And I only ask because I'm having a hard time getting him in the car.
Oh.
Yeah. Are there any snacks that you have in there so that he could have something to eat while he's...
No.
No. So we'd have to bring some stuff in.
Well,
Apart.
I would not advise feeding him.
Okay. Well, he's going to get nasty, but I see your point. But you seem delightful. And are there other people in the store in case we had to hold him down while we're trying the clothes on?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, look, we after we get back from the Redwoods, then we might stop by. How far are you from the Redwoods?
Well, what city are you in?
We don't know where we're going to catch him, but I just want to know, let's say we're coming north of San Francisco, how long is the trip?
It's an hour and a half.
Oh, perfect. And what's your name? Actually, don't tell me your name. I feel like that's probably best we don't know. But listen, you've been delightful. You've answered all my questions, and we'll see you when we get it. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm going to name her Janine.
Okay.
And I just want to say that Janine was such a good... Sasquatch aside, Sasquatch info aside, Janine was outstanding. Don't you think? I want to say that those are the big. I mean, for a human, the big questions are what's the meaning of life, and for someone who works at a Casual Male XL, you asked the big questions to her, and she did a great job handling them.
She answered every one. If there were more Janines out there, I would buy my clothes a lot bigger. And
so, what have we gathered? What have we gathered from this kind of what I've learned is that I mean, more or less, I would say Casual Male XL, apart from holding him down, which is a big ask, they're ready to do it. They're ready to do pretty much everything you asked of them, other than feeding them. Mm-hmm. And that's a very unreasonable thing. You can't expect these stores to change how stores work just so Sasquatch can go in there.
Right. Yeah. I would say that that's a great sign. It's a great sign that the domestication process could be augmented by helpful retail people that are standing by ready to help. My question is, what do you feed him? I mean, what do you feed?
Well,
once you got him,
my philosophy, and this may not be kosher. It may not be good. Mm-hmm. I would feed him junk food and Hawaiian Punch. I actually bought a Hawaiian Punch.
Oh, great.
Can we just cut to a close-up of this Hawaiian Punch? Yeah, it's just a Hawaiian. It's a can of Hawaiian Punch. So, I would feed him Hawaiian Punch and Pop-Tarts and Pringles. What would you feed him?
I would feed him just hay, probably.
Well, should we call out? People are. Mickey D sounded good. Look, people are accusing us of sponsorship. This is all freelance sponsorship.
Yeah. Look, if Men's Warehouse XXL, if they want to sponsor the show, we're for hire. Some people like to think that. Some people call that selling out. I like to think of it as selling in.
What would you do if someone said to us, Alex and Eric, we're going to give you $3,000 right now to split?
Well, let me ask you this question. What did Coldplay do at the Super Bowl halftime show? They just killed it. They did what they did best, as good as they could do it, with Beyonce and Bruno Mars. But we'd leave them out of it because it's, $3,000 is a lot for us, but we can't bring anybody else into the deal. So I think we'd start to think about how do you make the very best Men's Warehouse sort of situation possible. Let me ask you this. What's our next move?
Well, I think we need to talk about some of the possibilities of what you can do with the Sasquatch.
Okay.
And what I have sort of to demonstrate, maybe you can answer some questions while I get to the suit.
Why don't I review? Yep.
We don't have a Sasquatch here. I mean, for reasons of expediency, I'm going to get into a Sasquatch suit, and I'm going to show you some of the things a Sasquatch can do to you or for you once it's domesticated.
Okay. So great. So I'm going to talk to the viewers here a little bit. So you guys are talking a lot about some of the outfits Sasquatch could be wearing. Translations is talking about summer wear, shorts, trunks, Speedo, mankini. He could wear all of this stuff. And, okay, Matt976 is talking, shave that Squatch. Again, I don't know what the obsession is with shaving him. It would be a lot of work. It would require a lot of upkeep. I don't have a lot of hair on my body, and it takes a lot of work just to maintain the kind of average amount of hair that I have on my, on my privates and my other parts that are just on my chest and whatever. And so I can't imagine the process of shaving this thing day after day after day. Have you ever... To be continued, have you ever seen a Sasquatch except Eric? I'm not a Sasquatch. I don't know why you guys keep saying that. It's offensive to me. I wish you wouldn't do that. I have not seen Sasquatch. I've talked to many people who have. I've heard him in the distance. Alex and I are actually looking forward to showing you a video that we created where we went out and we were talking to Sasquatch experts in the field when we do our telethon, our upcoming telethon that we keep talking about and we haven't quite set a date for. We are going to feature that video, and so we're going to show that to you. You look great, Alex.
Thank you. It's going to be the
Oh, your mic kind of went out. Wait, yep. Hello. Yo. Hello. Well, for now, we can share the mic here.
There's a mic over here.
Oh,
Chris.
there we go. It's back on.
So, here's what I'll say. This is what I want to say. So, let's say your Sasquatch is domesticated. All right, let's step past some of the ethical questions of how long, is it the right thing to do? Is it right to, capture and domesticate a sentient species? And let's assume you've just gone through.
Yeah, we're way past that.
Yeah, you just went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we do things like that every day.
Yep.
So this thing's on board. This thing, lives in your house. Here's one of the things it could do. I have a hairbrush and just some conditioner. And I'm not going to say what brand it is, just to show you that we're not looking for sponsorship. And I'm just going to kind of comb it into Eric's hair.
So I've let my hair down here, and this is there's a vision of the future. This is a fully domesticated Sasquatch, and he's just patting. I feel like he could have done a better job of that's not usually how conditioner is applied. So he's
this is how well Sasquatch would be able to do this.
And at this point, I would probably be rethinking that I even asked Sasquatch to do this. I would think, okay, I maybe overestimated his ability to understand commands and to perform actions like brushing hair and putting conditioner in a person's hair. At this point, I would probably be thinking, this is a mistake. I won't do this again. I'm just going to have him move a pile of dirt from one place to another in my yard, because this is going to take more time to clean up and sort of kind of reverse than whatever I was trying to accomplish in the first place. So
now, just to be clear, I did get that brush so tangled in Eric's hair that I can't get it out. I think it was a good illustration of.
It is a good illustration, and it's an illustration of how far Sasquatch has come, because normally he would have just grabbed a hold of my hair and just ripped my head off of my neck. So this is a vast improvement, even though we're not quite there yet.
I think that's a great point. Just because it's such a poor, it's not. You don't take conditioner and brush it through someone's hair.
Right.
And even if that's what he was trying to do,
yeah.
He didn't do a good job of doing it.
Let me double check that this microphone. Hello, yo. Yeah, that mic isn't working great for some reason. So why don't we just kind of pass this one back and forth?
Well, look, that's basically all I wanted to do. Eric, should we make one more call? Should we make another call to see if we can get some food for Sasquatch?
Yeah, why don't we do one more phone call? Do we have the phone numbers readily available?
Oh, right.
Okay. Your mic's working now.
Okay, should we do Cahoots Feed and Pet Store?
Okay. So.
Okay, 818?
Yep.
718?
Okay, I got it. Do you want to go ahead and...
I can't hear what they're saying.
Oh, is that right?
All right, I sort of can hear it. I think we got to try a different number, Eric.
Yep. Well, we've got another one here. Let's see.
Animal feed store.
Right. 5886. Okay. This is going to be a winner. Winner chicken dinner. I can feel it in my bones. We often call the West Coast, folks, because here in Queens, everybody's asleep. They say New York's the city that never sleeps, and I don't find that that's true. It's kind of a misnomer. Okay, well, let's try one more number here. Okay. Oh, Dr. Watney's telling us to... Hello? Hello? Okay. Sounded like someone just sort of...
Here's what I want to say. Let's stop. Let's see if we can...
Yeah.
Look, I think we got to recenter. We got to recenter.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm so fucking hot.
Yeah, it's that outfit is not.
It is so disgustingly hot.
It is hot. I put it on just to see what it was like when it came in the mail.
My face is so sweaty. All right. We're getting a call.
Okay.
You want to take this call?
I don't know if we should or not.
Why?
Well,
yeah.
You know, it's debatable. Watney, are you trying to call us? Because
What's?
Ed Toast says take the call.
No, okay, we're in a. If someone calls in again, we're in take it, hell or high water. Eric, here's what I want to say. We're getting back to the center.
Yeah.
Of this debate.
Right.
All right, here we go.
Hello, you're on the line with Dark of the Night. Who's calling?
You're right, it's
Okay, that was the guy who called earlier. And folks, just FYI, we love you. We love taking calls. We love connecting with the audience. And so we encourage you to just call in. Sometimes the line drops just like that. Sometimes it doesn't. But folks, hello, you're on the line with Dark of the Night.
Hi.
Hi. Who's calling?
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Where are you calling from, Jimmy?
England.
Great. What's going on in England?
Blacks.
You know, we've got such a special relationship with our audience, and we love to hear from the Nightcrawlers. You guys are so great, and I wonder if maybe we go to the Dark Truth.
Let's go to the Dark Truth. Well, here's what I do want to say before. I'm sorry I fucked up your hair before, but we can go to the Dark Truth.
It's dark. So dark. We live in a chasm Sasquatch. Tonight we sidestep the ethical issues and we kind of just dug right in to actualizing the dream of going Super Saiyan and just flipping the fuck out when you know that you've got this guy and you can just keep him in your garage. Sasquatch. Food is good. Porno is bad. Man better than Sasquatch. Sasquatch. He can be just like us. He can be, kind of fun to hang out with. He can put stuff in the fridge for you when you're, upstairs kind of folding cardboard. He can walk your laundry down the block to the laundromat while you're putting cans away. He can do it, and it's not just chores, you go to the movies with you. Domesticating Sasquatch does not mean treating him like a bag of shit, although that's a good option.
Folks, thank you for joining us tonight. I think we've covered a lot of ground, and we've really made a strategic plan for what to do in order to bring Sasquatch into a more civilized world.
We try to cover as much as we can with these topics. It's always bigger. Our eyes are always bigger than our stomach, and so we will visit Sasquatch again. Hippie Steve says one day all your kids will be in school and have classes with a Squatch. Jesus Christ, I hope that's not the case.
Let's hope not, folks.
Guys, we had a great time tonight. We hope you had a great time. Go forth, domesticate Sasquatch, and remember, child penitentiary. Good night.
We'll see you next week.